10 reasons Messi can't be stopped at 39. 1. Elite football IQ never ages. Football intelligence is arguably Messi's greatest asset, and unlike speed or explosiveness, it is a cognitive skill that doesn't decline with age. In many cases, it actually sharpens. Over more than 2 decades at the very top of the sport, Messi has built an enormous internal library of patterns: how a backline shifts when the ball moves wide, how a defender's hips telegraph which way they'll lean, how a midfielder's body shape reveals whether a pass is coming short or long. This is the same kind of pattern recognition chess grandmasters develop after thousands of games: the ability to glance at a position and instantly know what matters and what doesn't. For Messi, this means he often knows where he's going to play the ball before he even receives it, cutting out the split-second hesitation that costs most players precious time and space. Defenders can train to be faster or stronger, but they cannot easily train away the structural disadvantage of facing a player who has effectively seen every version of the situation unfolding in front of him before. This is why aging playmakers in many sports, quarterbacks, point guards, deep-lying midfielders, often become more efficient, not less, as their careers stretch into their late 30s. Their physical tools decline, but their decision-making compresses the time needed to exploit a defense, which is often more valuable than raw pace. For Messi specifically, this means he doesn't need to outrun 3 defenders anymore. He simply needs to see the gap a fraction of a second before everyone else and deliver the ball with the same technical precision he always has. That combination, declining physical demands paired with rising tactical sharpness, is precisely why age curves for elite creative players tend to flatten out far later than for athletes who rely primarily on speed and power. 2. Low reliance on raw speed. Unlike players such as Kylian Mbappe or Vinicius Jr., whose primary weapon is straight-line pace, Messi's game was never built around outright speed. Since his earliest days at Barcelona's La Masia Academy, his threat has come from close ball control, a low center of gravity, quick footwork over short distances, and sudden changes of direction that unbalance defenders without him needing to be the fastest man on the pitch. This matters enormously for aging, because sprint speed and explosive acceleration are among the first physical attributes to decline in an athlete's mid to late 30s. The fast twitch fibers behind that kind of power are harder to maintain than the neuromuscular coordination behind close control. Messi's dribbling relies far more on deception and subtle feints than on outrunning anyone, skills refined over decades rather than purely athletic ones. A defender facing him at 39 doesn't need to worry about being blown past in a flat sprint. They need to worry that in the space of a single stride, he can change direction, shield the ball, and slip a pass through a gap that didn't seem to exist a moment earlier. Because this skill set depends so much less on fading explosiveness, Messi has effectively been aging on a different curve than most. 3. Efficient movement across 90 minutes. For much of his career, Messi has faced criticism, often unfairly, for appearing to walk through long stretches of matches while teammates around him sprint and press. In reality, this is a highly calculated form of energy management that has become even more valuable as he's aged. Rather than chasing every loose ball or tracking back constantly, he identifies the handful of moments in a match, often no more than 10 or 15 genuinely decisive actions, where his explosiveness can actually change the outcome and saves his physical reserves specifically for those windows. This is why, even as his overall stamina has naturally declined, his output in the moments that matter most has stayed remarkably consistent. Sports scientists have long noted that total distance covered correlates poorly with attacking output, while high-intensity actions in dangerous areas correlate strongly with goals and assists. Messi has essentially been optimizing for the second metric his entire career, long before it became 4. Left foot mastery is essentially permanent. Messi's technical relationship with the ball, and particularly his left foot, represents one of the purest examples in football of a skill built through such extreme repetition that it becomes close to permanent, largely immune to the physical decline that erodes speed and jumping ability. His first touch, receiving a pass under pressure from any angle and instantly having the ball set up for his next action, is the product of hundreds of thousands of repetitions since childhood, encoded so deeply into his neuromuscular system that it functions almost automatically. The same is true of his close control and his finishing technique, which relies on precise contact and placement rather than power. Motor skills of this kind, once ingrained at an elite level over decades, decay far more slowly than raw physical attributes like top speed or vertical leap. This is a well-documented pattern across sports. Elite technicians, snooker players, golfers, pianists tend to retain precision skills far later into life than athletes whose success depends primarily on power output. For Messi, this means 5. Set piece and free kick precision. Free kicks, corners, and penalties occupy a unique category in football because their execution depends almost entirely on technique, repetition, and mental composure rather than raw athleticism or explosive power. This is precisely why some of the greatest dead ball specialists in the sport's history have remained dangerous from set pieces well into their late 30s, long after their pace had visibly declined in open play. A free kick requires no sprint, no jump, no physical duel with an opponent, just a stationary ball struck with a refined combination of contact point, body positioning, and follow-through rehearsed thousands of times across a career. Messi's free kick technique relies on a knuckleball-style strike requiring minimal backswing and generating unpredictable movement through precise contact rather than sheer power, meaning it's almost entirely insulated from the physical decline affecting other parts of his game. The same logic applies to penalties, where composure matters more than fitness, and to corner deliveries, where accuracy and disguise decide the 7. Professional-level fitness and recovery. A significant part of Messi's longevity traces back to a deliberate transformation in his diet, training, and recovery that began in earnest during his late 20s, partly in response to muscular injuries that threatened to derail his career. Working with nutritionists, he overhauled his eating habits, cutting out processed foods and refined sugars in favor of lean proteins, vegetables, and controlled portions, changes that reduced inflammation and improved his body composition. This nutritional discipline was paired with a far more structured approach to conditioning, incorporating targeted strength work, mobility training, and injury prevention routines designed to protect the muscle groups most prone to strain in explosive, change-of-direction sports. Alongside this, he has had access to advanced sports science and recovery technology, including personalized load management protocols that track exactly how much physical stress his body can absorb without excessive injury risk. This individualized approach, informed by biometric data, sleep tracking, and recovery monitoring, allows his staff to make precise decisions about rest and training intensity that a player from an earlier generation wouldn't have had access to. The cumulative effect has been an extension of his physical prime well beyond what's typical for his generation, meaning his body has absorbed dramatically less cumulative wear and tear than it otherwise would have. 8. Comparatively less physically demanding league. Since moving to Inter Miami in Major League Soccer, Messi has been competing in an environment that, while still competitive, generally involves less relentless physical intensity than what he faced for most of his career in La Liga, and particularly compared to the Premier League or Champions League football. MLS matches, on average, tend to feature somewhat less aggressive high-pressing and fewer bruising physical duels than the very top European leagues, where defenders are often faster and more tactically drilled in closing down space immediately. This isn't a criticism of the league's quality, but a recognition that the specific physical demands on an attacking player, full-speed sprints, individual defensive challenges, being physically outmuscled in duels, are measurably lower than what Messi encountered weekly at Barcelona or PSG. This matters for a 39-year-old body because the cumulative physical toll of a full season is meaningfully reduced, allowing his fitness staff to manage his minutes with greater flexibility. Combined with lighter fixture congestion than a European campaign juggling league, cup, and continental competitions simultaneously, this environment lets him be selectively rested and deployed mainly in the moments where his contribution matters most, extending his effective output well beyond what would be sustainable in a more physically brutal context. 9. Years of built-in chemistry with teammates. One of the most underappreciated aspects of Messi's continued effectiveness is the depth of understanding he has built with specific teammates, allowing him to produce dangerous plays with a fraction of the physical effort a less familiar partnership would require. At Barcelona, his combination play with Luis Suarez and Neymar became almost telepathic, built on thousands of hours of shared training that let each player anticipate the other's runs and decisions without needing to look up. At Inter Miami, he quickly developed similarly strong understanding with Suarez again and other teammates, recreating patterns of movement that didn't need to be relearned from scratch because the underlying instincts were built over years of prior collaboration. This chemistry dramatically reduces the physical and cognitive load required to create chances, because so much of the interaction becomes pre-programmed instinct rather than something worked out in real time. A give and go that might take an unfamiliar partnership seconds of hesitation to execute can happen for Messi and a familiar teammate almost instantly. This matters for an aging player because less energy is spent on the trial and error of building new partnerships, and more of his limited physical resources go straight toward execution, functioning as an efficiency multiplier that offsets natural athletic decline. 10. Sustained motivation and competitive drive. Perhaps the hardest factor to quantify, but arguably one of the most important, is the psychological dimension of Messi's continued excellence, a competitive hunger that has shown no signs of diminishing even after achieving virtually everything the sport has to offer, including a World Cup title, multiple Champions League trophies, and a record haul of Ballon d'Or awards. In many elite athletes, motivation and training intensity are often the first things to decline once major goals are achieved and financial security is no longer a concern, leading to a subtle but real drop-off in daily effort. Messi appears to be a notable the highest level. It's not just talent, it's his mentality, discipline, intelligence, and love for the game. Even after winning everything, Messi continues to improve and prove that greatness has no age limit. What do you think? Can Messi continue performing at this level for even longer? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more football stories.